Today I would like to invite you to listen to the Dhammapada of the Buddha Shakyamuni. 177 verses from the Buddhist scriptures on the YouTube channel Thien Thai in the USA. Verily misers go not to the celestial realms. Fools do not indeed praise liberality. The wise man rejoices in giving and thereby become happy thereafter. In the time of the Blessed One, there was a wealthy man who possessed many treasures, many fields, many houses, and many servants. Yet his heart was closed like a dry well in the middle of summer. Though he had abundance, he feared loss day and night. He locked his food away from the hungry. He turned away beggars from his gate. He spoke harshly to those who sought kindness. His wealth increased, but his peace disappeared. One day he saw a poor old woman offering a small bowl of rice to a monk with a joyful face. Though she owned almost nothing, her heart shone brighter than gold. The wealthy man asked why she smiled while giving away the little she had. The old woman replied that a heart without generosity is a prison, but a heart that gives is already free. These words entered the wealthy man's mind like rain entering dry earth. Later he approached the Blessed One and asked why his riches brought no happiness. The Buddha taught that attachment creates fear and selfishness creates suffering. The miser guards wealth with anxiety, but the generous person sleeps peacefully. The Buddha explained that true treasure is not stored in barns or hidden underground. True treasure is compassion, wisdom, patience, kindness, and giving. When a person shares food with the hungry, water with the thirsty, comfort with the grieving, and Dharma with the confused, merit grows naturally like a lotus blooming from clear water. The Blessed One taught that generosity softens the heart and destroys greed. A generous person becomes loved by humans and devas. Even after death, the merit of giving follows like a shadow that never leaves. Hearing this teaching, the wealthy man slowly changed. He began feeding monks and helping the poor. He repaired roads and offered medicine to the sick. His heart became light and joyful. He understood that happiness does not come from holding tightly, but from releasing selfishness. The Dhammapada teaches again and again that greed burns the mind like fire. Anger destroys peace like a storm. Delusion blinds beings like thick darkness. Yet generosity becomes cooling rain. Compassion becomes a gentle lamp. Wisdom becomes the path leading beyond suffering. Therefore the wise rejoice in giving, because giving cuts attachment and opens the gate to peace. The fool thinks possessions bring security, but death arrives without warning. The body becomes dust, and worldly treasures are left behind. Only karma follows beings across the river of birth and death. Therefore the Blessed One encouraged disciples to cultivate wholesome deeds, pure speech, and clear understanding. The heart that practices generosity becomes soft and beautiful like fertile soil where wisdom may grow. A person who gives with sincerity already walks toward heavenly realms and liberation. Thus the teaching of the Dhammapada reminds all beings that happiness is not found in selfish desire. Happiness is born from compassion, mindfulness, patience, and wisdom. The fragrance of flowers travels only with the wind, but the fragrance of virtue spreads in all directions. One lamp may light thousands of lamps without losing its own brightness. In the same way, one compassionate action may awaken goodness in countless hearts. Therefore, let every listener open the heart gently and receive the sacred words of the Buddha like cool rain falling upon thirsty land. The Dhammapada teaches that the mind is the beginning of all things. When the mind is pure, words become gentle and actions become peaceful. When the mind is clouded by greed, hatred, and ignorance, suffering follows like a cart following the ox that pulls it. Therefore the Buddha encouraged disciples to guard the mind carefully. A person may conquer many enemies in battle, yet still be defeated by anger within the heart. Another person may possess no worldly power, Yet because the mind is peaceful, that person lives like a king among humans. The Blessed One compared the untrained mind to a restless monkey leaping from branch to branch. Thoughts run toward desire, fear, memory, jealousy, and pride. Without mindfulness, the mind becomes exhausted and lost. But when mindfulness is cultivated through meditation and right understanding, the heart slowly becomes still like a quiet lake beneath the moon. In that stillness, wisdom appears naturally. One who understands the nature of impermanence no longer clings tightly to changing things. Youth changes into old age. Health changes into sickness. Meeting changes into separation. Birth changes into death. All conditioned things rise and pass away. Because beings fail to understand this truth, sorrow and attachment continue endlessly. The Buddha did not teach these truths to create fear. He taught them so beings may awaken from illusion and discover liberation. When people understand impermanence deeply, they begin cherishing kindness more than possessions. They stop wasting life on hatred and competition. They learn to forgive quickly because life is uncertain. They become humble because worldly success disappears like morning dew beneath sunlight. The Dhammapada teaches that hatred never ends through hatred. Hatred ends only through love. This eternal law shines across all ages. A person carrying anger suffers first before anyone else suffers. Anger burns the heart like hidden fire beneath ashes. Even when smiling outwardly, the angry mind remains restless and wounded. Therefore, the Buddha advised disciples to cultivate loving kindness toward all beings. One should, just as a mother protects her only child with boundless care, one should develop a heart embracing all life without discrimination. This loving kindness destroys fear and softens the hard walls of separation. The Buddha also taught that careless speech causes great suffering. Sharp words wound more deeply than arrows. Lies destroy trust and create confusion. Gossip divides friends and families. Harsh speech plants seeds of bitterness. Therefore, the wise speak truthfully, kindly, and meaningfully. Silence is better than useless words. Speech rooted in compassion becomes medicine for suffering hearts. The Dhammapada also reminds disciples that laziness weakens spiritual life. A farmer who neglects the field harvests only weeds. In the same way, a person who neglects the mind becomes overcome by ignorance. Therefore, one should practice diligently day and night. Even small steps on the path bring benefit. A drop of water falling continuously may fill a great jar. Small acts of goodness performed consistently transform the heart gradually. Meditation, generosity, patience, humility, and mindfulness become strong through repeated practice. The Buddha never demanded perfection in a single moment. He encouraged steady cultivation. If a person falls into anger, that person should rise again with mindfulness. If greed appears, wisdom should observe it calmly. If sadness arises, compassion should embrace it gently. Through sincere practice, the mind becomes clearer little by little. The Dhammapada teaches that no one can purify another person completely. Teachers may show the path, but each being must walk with personal effort. Therefore, one should not delay practice while waiting for perfect conditions. Life passes swiftly. Days and nights disappear like water flowing down a mountain stream. Wise people use precious human life to cultivate virtue and understanding before death arrives unexpectedly. The Buddha compared human birth to a rare turtle surfacing from the ocean and placing its head through a floating yoke. Such is the rarity of obtaining human life and hearing the Dharma. Therefore, disciples should treasure this opportunity deeply. Instead of wasting time in resentment and endless craving, one should cultivate awareness and compassion. A peaceful heart becomes a refuge wherever one goes. Even in difficult circumstances, inner wisdom remains like a lamp protected from the wind. The Dhammapada teaches that the greatest victory is victory over oneself. One who conquers greed, hatred, and delusion attains true freedom beyond worldly praise and blame. Such a person walks gently upon the earth, bringing peace to all beings encountered along the path. The Buddha taught that attachment is the root of sorrow. People cling to wealth, relationships, reputation, opinions, and even the body itself, believing these things can provide permanent happiness. Yet all conditioned things are changing constantly. When attachment meets impermanence, suffering appears naturally. A child cries when a sandcastle is destroyed by waves because the child does not yet understand the nature of the sea. In the same way, beings cry endlessly because they cling to what cannot remain forever. The Dhammapada gently awakens beings from this dream of permanence. The Buddha did not say people should reject love or abandon responsibility. He taught that love without wisdom becomes attachment, while love with wisdom becomes compassion. Attachment says, "This belongs to me forever." Compassion says, "May all beings be peaceful and free." Attachment fears loss constantly. Compassion gives freely without chains. When a person understands this difference, the heart becomes spacious and calm. The Buddha also taught that craving never ends through satisfaction. Desire resembles a fire fed with dry wood. The more wood added, the more fiercely the fire burns. A person chasing endless pleasure becomes exhausted and dissatisfied because worldly enjoyment cannot fill the emptiness created by ignorance. Therefore, wise disciples cultivate contentment. Contentment is not poverty of spirit. It is freedom from endless craving. A content person appreciates simple food, peaceful sleep, honest work, and moments of mindfulness. Such a person experiences joy naturally because gratitude replaces greed. The Dhammapada praises those who live simply and mindfully. A robe may be old, but if the mind is pure, the person shines beautifully. A palace may be luxurious, but if greed controls the heart, suffering still remains. The Buddha explained that beauty fades, strength weakens, and worldly praise changes quickly like shifting clouds. Therefore, wise beings seek refuge not in temporary conditions, but in Dharma and wisdom. Meditation becomes an important bridge on this path. Through meditation, the mind learns to observe thoughts without becoming imprisoned by them. When anger appears, mindfulness recognizes anger. When fear appears, mindfulness recognizes fear. Gradually, the practitioner understands that thoughts and emotions arise and pass away like clouds moving across the sky. The true nature of mind remains spacious and luminous beneath passing conditions. The Buddha compared disciplined mindfulness to a skilled gatekeeper watching carefully at the city gate. Harmful thoughts are not allowed to enter freely. Compassion, patience, and wisdom are welcomed instead. In this way, the practitioner protects inner peace carefully. The Dhammapada also teaches the importance of noble friendship. Companionship strongly influences the direction of life. If one walks among those devoted to greed and cruelty, the mind becomes disturbed easily. If one walks among those devoted to wisdom and kindness, wholesome qualities grow naturally. Therefore, the Buddha encouraged disciples to associate with virtuous friends who inspire mindfulness and compassion. A wise friend speaks honestly and encourages goodness even during difficult times. Such friendship becomes a precious blessing on the spiritual path. The Buddha also reminded disciples that external rituals alone cannot purify the heart. True purity arises through ethical conduct, mindfulness, and wisdom. A person may wear beautiful robes and recite many sacred words, yet if greed and hatred dominate the mind, liberation remains distant. Another person may live humbly yet practice compassion sincerely. Such a person walks closer to awakening. Therefore, the Dhammapada constantly points inward toward the purification of the heart. The Buddha taught that each moment provides an opportunity for awakening. While walking, one may practice mindfulness. While eating, one may practice gratitude. While speaking, one may practice compassion. Spiritual life is not separate from daily life. Every breath may become part of the path. Even suffering itself may become a teacher when observed with wisdom. Illness reveals impermanence. Separation reveals attachment. Failure reveals pride. Loss reveals the unstable nature of worldly conditions. When embraced with mindfulness, difficulties deepen understanding instead of creating bitterness. The awakened person sees lessons hidden within every experience. Therefore, the Dhammapada shines like a lantern guiding beings through darkness toward liberation. Its verses are simple yet profound, like clear water reflecting the moon. Whoever practices sincerely discovers greater peace, greater compassion, and greater freedom from suffering. The path may require patience and effort, but every step taken with mindfulness already contains the seeds of awakening. Thank you for watching my video. Namalammitba. I wish to bring this merit towards all disciples and sentient beings, all of whom will attain Buddhahood. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate your time.